It's a life of fear, of insecurity, and of lack of future. We are divided like a kind of tumors. In every part, we have armed people coming and forcing civilians to live following their orders. And what they want is to paralyze civilian life. So there is no more shops. If you need something, you can't find a worker. And of course, you don't have nutrition, you don't have alimentation, lack of food, lack of fuel, lack of electricity, and this fear because you don't know when it will be your turn to be considered as a collaborator. And we think that something is going wrong more and more in the general way of orienting this strive, what's so called for freedom and democracy. I am not Syrian, but I have been living in Syria for today almost 20 years. Syria was under a kind of totalitarian regime, but not in only a way, a repressive way, but it was that all the decision would be taken by few persons. But there was security, there was food, education, and people were living, of course, not in a kind of that they would say their thinking in a loud voice. Now, this totalitarianism is not good and it's obsolete. But if the armed insurrection is implementing another totalitarianism, which is maybe worse, because there is blood, they can behead you, they can cut your, last week in our village, they cut the fingers of a so-called collaborator who is native from the village. Then they behead him, and they cut him in piece, and they left him in the street where even children would see it. So this kind of acts of atrocities cannot help people to really believe that what is happening is a strive for freedom. The majority of the Syrian population, I say, is taken as hostage and sometimes as a tool, as a mean, by these armed insurrection people. They come and they take place in the civilian areas. Why? Why you don't make your combat? We have a lot of desert. It is against international laws. But what really scandalizes us and leaves us in distress is that the Western world seemed to be encouraging this rise of sectarian violence just to topple the regime. We are against violence, and we are against justifying violence. You can't say that this man is killing another man and he is justified to kill him. Moreover, when through his movements he is putting in real danger and having terrible collateral damages to a whole civilian population which was neutral. That's what is happening in Aleppo. You know, we are responsible, and if we are not responsible today, but we are responsible toward the history. Once all those atrocities will be revealed, when you will see a family whose girl has been abused, or I have heard about collective abusing, whose son has been beheaded, whose father has been abducted. You know that there are thousands of people, you don't know where they are because they have been abducted. Sometimes they are bandits. They say, we are in the revolution, but they are bandits. mafias who come to ask ransom. Some others, they have like sectarian hatred. So they take this one because he is Alawi. They take this one because he is a moderate Muslim. So we don't know. It's a confusion. It's a chaos. And what really grieves us is that the international community holds a paradox. On one side, they say, with hypocrisy, we want peace, we want to protect the civilian population. They even want to intervene in a military way, like in other countries. But on the other hand, they are funding and sending intelligence helps and sending weapons to rebels. Really, you don't know from where they come. We are working with our religious leaders, with Muslim religious leaders, with pacifists, with also a family leader, tribal leaders, to say that there is a third way. And the third way is a way of non-violence, but real non-violence. When there is no attacks and aggression, there is no motivation for any repression. Second, the civilian society in Syria is upset. And we are asking for human rights. Not only human rights for rebels, but human rights for the normal citizens who are caught in between. And we are asking also, why should the combats be held in civilian areas? For example, in Aleppo, those people, they came from outside. I have been talking with prelates, I have been talking with families. They don't know whom they are. They are foreigners. Either they come from northern villages, from Idlib or from northern Aleppo countryside, or they come from foreign countries. What are they doing in Aleppo? Why are they doing? Why are they funded and helped and fueled with weapons? And why are they introducing themselves in between the civilian population? And then they say that the army is bombing civilian areas. Please, don't enter in civilian population. Don't enter in residence area. Go to the desert if you want to make your war. It is against human rights and it is against the Charter of Geneva. So I want to say to all who are looking at me, I am a Christian and I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. Non-violence is the best way to get what we want, the non-violence. And in all good revolutions, you look at Gandhi, you look at Nelson Mandela, even you look here in Ireland, when you can stop violence and you can enter in a real path of dialogue, accepting the other. Sometimes you have to forget your interest. You cannot take everything. You forget your interest. We can arrive to a common ground. We can make a new social pact, you know. And I want to also to ask, let the Syrian people alone. Let the Syrian people alone. Leave us alone. You are not bringing anything else but death, fear, chaos, instability with your big declarations and with your big assemblies and also with your big powers. Leave the Syrian people alone. Enough, it's enough. Leave those people and stop funding weapons for rebels you bring from I don't know one. We are crying also because those people, they have a mother, they have a father, they are human beings, and sometimes they don't know where they are. And they think that fighting in Syria or fighting where they are fighting will open for them heaven and paradise. And this is alienating.